Howdy, brothers.
Welcome back to another episode of Whiskey and Water.
I'm your co-host, Jess.
And I'm your co-host, Liv. And on this week's episode, we are giving the brothers some advice. It is advice hour.
Advice.
It's advice. We have the giggles right now. I'm so sorry.
Guys, I'm genuinely crying.
Maybe just go to our YouTube channel and see why we're having the giggles right now, but we'll keep it at that.
No, let's tell them. We're filming, we film via photo booth. That's how we get our snippets and stuff. And on photo booth, it's your OG photo booth. It's got all the funny fucking effects. So we are currently in Frog, and it is just sending me.
We have been sitting here for 10 minutes. Our poor editor, just literally laughing and just making jokes the whole time.
Man, I'm literally crying because it's so funny.
So just, if you can watch it on YouTube, just watch this first half on YouTube.
We're going to do the segments in Frog, and then the rest.
Maybe we'll do the rest in the swirl or something.
The pinch swirl. Okay, let's get into our segments.
Yes. And just a little bit about the episode today. We put up a poll, doing an advice column, pretty much anything and everything you guys want advice on. So the range of topics are going to be very random, but we're just going to give you guys our best insight and our best input on different situations in your life right now.
Yes. Wonderful.
Wonderful. Okay, let's get into our segments, our high and low.
Why do you sound like that?
Sorry, I'm dying. Okay, so
lows.
Yeah, lows.
Well, honestly, are you going to do it?
Yeah, my low has been I've been getting horrible heartburn. And no, I think it's actually kind of serious because
no, actually it's quite serious,
isn't it? Because it's just a really discomfort, and I might have to go to the doctor about it. So that's been a low because it's not been fun. It's so random. It's been hitting me the last 4 days or so, and it's unbearable. I just have to lay in a bed and hope that it goes away soon.
Not very fun, flirty, fresh.
Not fun, flirty, fresh.
And hate that for you.
I hate that too. So I hope a doctor can provide a solution because I'm not loving it. And that's my low. It's made me honestly that pain and discomfort really lowers your quality of life because it puts me in such a bad headspace.
Yeah,
I'm all positive Liv, and then I get a tummy ache and I'm I fucking hate my life and I hate living. No, not serious, but on a kidding level. Okay, my high is getting my house together has been so much fun. I just got every time I get a new furniture piece, I just get so excited. Mm-hmm. So I added a buffet table. If you've watched my stories, you know this. I got a new bench in my bedroom in front of my bed, and then I also got a bar cart. So I think I'm done with my pieces inside. I don't think there's another piece of furniture that I have to get. Those were the last ones. And it's just so fulfilling watching a house come together. So I've been very excited about that.
I'm excited for you, and I'm excited to see it because I haven't seen the complete final product yet.
Yeah, and it won't be for a while because we do have a lot of renovating to do still. But for the furnishing part of the move-in, that's done.
My low, don't have one. Life's sweet. It's just there's a number of things that I feel I could complain about. What are you laughing at?
I can't look at you. Yours is funnier than mine.
Yeah, yours looks semi-normal. Just a scary the bodybuilder version of you.
This is me. I'm a linebacker.
Yeah, so there's a number of things I could choose to complain about, but I am just not going to. So no lows for me. My high is that my little sister was in town last week and I got to spend time with her, and I was so fucking happy. I just love being around her. We have so much fun together. And it's just I don't know, it's just so nice being around someone that you fucking came from the same womb. I love spending time with her. I mean, obviously I love spending time with you, but with my cousin Ashley and shit, there's just something so homey about spending time with someone who knows all the shit that you went through as a child.
No, totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's a deep bond that doesn't really compare to anything else.
You could just be entirely yourself, and
the truest, purest version of you.
Yeah, for sure. So I love spending time with her, and it's so funny. She sends me all these big sister TikToks, and it's just so nice to see how she views me. You know what I mean? last night she sent me one, and it was like this like sound where this guy was like, "Do you love me more than them yet?" And the guy was like, "No." And it was like me with my big sister. And she was like that anytime anyone asked me like, "Do you love me more than her yet?" And she's like, "No, absolutely not."
So
So it's just like so
sweet.
sweet. I love spending time with her. So that was my high. Very, very happy about it.
Okay, guys, let's get into our deep dive. If you're new here, this is a segment that we do every week where we go into a collaboration of ours. We talk about how we got it, what the deliverables are, and what the rate is because
We believe in rate transparency.
So for this week, my deep dive is with a company called Wisp. And they are basically, from what I've gathered, they are like quick, the most often prescribed medicine for like the most common things that people typically go to like the urgent care for is what they will prescribe you
I thought that was a toothbrush.
or what you can purchase. Yeah, there is a toothbrush called Wisp too, but this is Wisp like Health. So I got it through, I think I saw an ad for them on TikTok, and I think I had reached out, just my normal like brand pitch, outreach email, and we locked in one TikTok. So that's the deliverable, and then the rate is $1,000. They didn't even try to negotiate. They saw my rate on my media kit, and they said full send, brother. And the product I'm getting is like UTI preventative pills, which I felt like I could speak very naturally about since I do have a history of getting really bad UTIs. And that was the only thing on the website because everything else was like actually there's a lot of like STD prevention, like things like that, like sexual health. So yeah, check that out. I think it's a cool resource, but since I felt like I could relate to that and speak about it in an authentic way, I moved forward with it. Okay, what is your deep dive?
My deep dive is with a company called Boutique Rugs. This is another collab for my LA apartment. And they are sending me a budget friendly rug. There's a terrace in the new LA apartment, like an outdoor terrace. It's like pretty spacious. So I got the rug for out there and I'm super excited about it. And the deliverables are just a story, like a story set, 3 to 4 stories, and a couple high res images for them to use. So there's not even any posting deliverables, which is great for me.
Okay, we are finally done with our segments. Let's get into the episode for the love of God. Okay, now that we are back and looking like our normal selves again,
Semi.
kind of.
You guys know when you stare at a version of yourself for too long?
No, it's totally a thing. I saw it on TikTok. Because like it'll show the effect and it'll be like stare at this for like 60 seconds and then take the filter off and you'll be like amazed at how pretty you actually are. And I'm like, quite the contrary, actually. I feel like I look strange now.
There is something unsettling about how you look on the camera right now.
That frog version was
I thought
real version
there
of
was
me.
still an effect on you, like at the first.
Okay. Anyways, moving on. We are doing our advice hour, brothers. Let's get into the first question, being advice on starting a YouTube channel.
Get into it.
Do it. Full send.
I meant like you get into it, but yeah, that too.
Oh, get into it. I thought about it. I wanted to do it for so long. And then quarantine finally gave me an opportunity to pull the trigger. I just felt like I had enough like bandwidth and just like mental space to commit to another platform and consistently create content. My best advice is finding an editor because I promise trying to come out with a video once a week, that's at least 4 hours of editing time, you know, depending on how quick you are with it, but that is going to burn you out, in my opinion, especially if you just like have other stuff going on. To each their own, obviously, but I know I could not do it and would not look forward to like that's the part that would burn me out and that I wouldn't look forward to doing. You know, like I like coming up with the creative concepts and being in front of the camera and being funny and making jokes and taking people along for the ride. I don't want to sit there and edit something for 4 hours. So I would say make the investment. You can pay, I think, $10 on Fiverr for like a 5 or 10-minute YouTube video. So definitely look into outsourcing and delegating the editing out for YouTube. And then my other advice is just think about like what you want your personal brand to be, what you feel like people might be interested in, what you feel like you could get the most content about. My page is a little random. I'm trying to find that out for myself still, but it's definitely something you want to think about so that you're not so all over the place. If you want to be like a dedicated fitness page, my friend Allison asked this question. My homegirl, I love you and I miss you. And thank you for asking. But yeah, if you want to talk about your fitness and talk about your health journey, even, I don't know, there's so many opportunities and niches on YouTube for people to get into. So I think just being your most authentic self and showing up as her is a great place to start. Okay, moving on. Next question. How to handle when your close friends aren't including you in their plans? Oh,
Drop them.
yeah, fuck them, girl. Move on.
I
No,
don't know.
kidding.
I'm like such a like proponent of like if you have to ask, like fuck it. But
it's hard though when you want to be included,
for sure. I would just like, I think vulnerability is such a like strong suit that so many people don't have. So I think just being vulnerable and just communicating effectively, like there's a way to say everything and you don't want to like attack them for not inviting you or,
or have a pity party about it either. There's a way to show up and say, hey, this is hurting me without playing the victim.
Yeah. Like for example, like I had a situation with, my group of friends from college who I was going through a breakup, about a year and a half ago. And I didn't feel like they were like there for me or like taking it seriously. So basically what I just did was like, hey there, I know that this isn't intentional in any way, but I'm just going to let you guys know that like I'm struggling and I do need this additional support and that I think I said something along the lines of like, I've always like been there for you guys and I just really need that same energy right now. And they stepped up to the fucking plate plus some. Like we made plans for that week. Like they cleared their schedules. So those are the kind of friends that you like need. And so you need to feel like you can go to them vulnerably.
Yeah. And, that's kind of a good test. If you can't go to them vulnerably and say, hey, like, I would love to be, you can literally say, and I think people might be embarrassed of saying like, hey, I feel left out, but go to them and say, hey, I feel left out.
Yeah.
And like,
we're adults. We can communicate directly.
Yeah. And we can admit to having feelings and being human and being, like Jess said, vulnerable and just admitting that like, yeah, this is making me feel left out and it's a shitty feeling. And if they're a good friend and if they're a friend that you want in your life, they will respect that and they will step up and they will change. And if they keep leaving you out, girl, fuck them.
Period.
Fuck them. Find friends who value you, value your time, and value your company and want you around.
Yeah, and would never leave you out to start.
Yeah.
It's weird that like your close friend would leave you out.
It could be. It definitely could be unintentional. I wouldn't take it personally.
I would.
Maybe just let them know, like, hey, if you could like make an effort to include me, and then at that point, if they still don't, then yeah, no.
Dude, actually, I have a great tip: voodoo dolls. Just create voodoo dolls of each one and terrorizes them,
brainwash them. Okay, next question is how to stay consistent in the gym / eating healthy. I can't really give you good advice on that, so that is Jess's department.
Great. Happy to have you here. I would say how to be consistent is don't wait for motivation. It's all discipline. You are not going to be motivated to get yourself off your ass and go to the gym. Like I want to stay on my ass all the time. I want to not do shit all the time. But you just have to be committed to becoming your best self and like constantly trying to discover who that is and like what that looks like to you. So like for me, it's like I go to the gym because I don't even know my own potential. Like I literally just want to see how fucking like strong I can get and how like fit I can get. And like I know how much like this morning I did not want to go to the gym at all. I was like, I'm not really like feeling great. What if I don't go? But then I was like, I know how much better I'm going to feel after I go. So that's something that does motivate me in a way, but it's 100% discipline. And then eating healthy, can't help you there.
Okay, that I'll step in for that one. Eating healthy. I think just being consistent. I know for me, when I'm not eating healthy, it's because I'm missing meals and it's on accident. It's not like intentional. There's no like, intention behind skipping meals. It's literally just because I'm too busy. I forgot to pack a lunch. I'm just on the go and I feel so like ashamed when I miss those meals because I know I'm not like serving my body the way I should be. and kind of like honoring my body by giving it fuel, and it just like is a downward spiral for me. So I think eating healthy starts with eating consistently and making a plan of action to be consistent about the meals, whether it's meal prepping on the weekends or investing in a meal prep service, buying meals that, you know, come already ready. There's so many services out there. I think that's step one. And then step two, if you like don't love being healthy, I think making sure you get your nutrients in like a smoothie form is great. We talked about this earlier. Or like making sure you take your supplements. Like Jess doesn't like vegetables, but she makes sure she gets what she needs in her smoothies. And that's a good way.
Look, my smoothie right now is
Yes,
green
that's a good way to do it.
because I threw some fucking spinach in that bitch.
And I think it's all about balance, you know, there's no like having cheat days. We're not big on
I just
like,
ate 3 cookies.
it's just, yeah, it's your own personal balance and that's for you to decide. But I think, you know, leveling things out, like when you have something that's fast food, you know, make sure you have a good lunch tomorrow, and just trying to keep that like steady back and forth pattern up is the best advice I have for you.
Eat intuitively. Eat what
Yeah.
feels good to you.
Yeah.
Because like some people couldn't eat like the amount of carbs that I do or whatever I eat because it doesn't feel good for them. However, I eat like what I know I'm gonna like feel good eating. And
Yeah.
you know, of course I'm not gonna feel like great eating 3 cookies, but it makes me happy.
And also it's different for everyone. So
Yeah.
often everyone thinks that you have to follow this one plan, but like I could not survive off what Jess eats and vice versa.
Yeah.
Jess could not survive
If-
off what I eat.
It simply like would not
Work.
work.
So you have to decide that for yourself and like look inward instead of looking outward. What?
I don't know, it was funny.
Instead of looking outward and seeing what other people are eating, what their diet is.
Journal about what foods are gonna be good for
No,
you.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just like listen to your body
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
go deeper into it and pay attention to, you know, the things that you enjoy eating, what make you feel good, what make you feel guilt-free, what make you feel nourished and lively and feeling alive. We're not nutritionists, so see a specialist.
Yeah.
Don't come after
Consult
us.
your doctor first.
Yeah. Okay. Next question is, how do you budget and save money owning your own business?
You don't.
Let us know when you know. Okay, let's dive into the first part. How do you budget?
Okay. How do you budget?
Okay. Wait, I feel like Dora. How do you budget? Waiting for an answer. So it's really hard for me to always answer this question because we don't have consistent incomes. And I think it's hard. Most people think of budgets and they think of a spreadsheet of what's coming in and what's going out, what your monthly expenses are. But because of what we do, that changes every month, right?
Yeah.
So my approach is more like a mindset thing. Like I try to just be reasonable with my spending habits. I know that's not the best advice. I am thankfully in a place where both of us are financially free. So we know every month our bills are paid. Like we're good there. So what we have to concern ourselves with is how much money are we spending? And that's something that we both could be better about for sure. I know I just with my past and how I've grown up, I'm already in a very frugal mindset. So like I'm not gonna blow more than a certain amount just freely. Like every purchase I make is pretty intentional. It goes through a back and forth process of like, do I need this? Is this necessary? I don't know. I think no matter how much money I make, even when we're millionaires,
it'll always be like that.
I think it's such a habit, the way like everyone's perspective on money. I'll always make decisions that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter how much money I have.
Yeah, I don't really make big purchases for myself ever, so like that's not a concern. Like the last the biggest purchase I've made in the past like 6 months was I got my mom a designer purse for Mother's Day, and that was like one of the biggest purchases I've
And
ever.
that's something you thought about and committed to, not just like spur of the moment.
Yeah, and I mean,
shopping,
aside
money.
from that, I mean, I really only spend money on like travel and like, you know, big purchases, and then I spend a lot of money on like food and drinks. So I don't really budget necessarily, but like I kind of like know my limits. Like I'll be like, hey, I don't want to spend more than like $200 tonight or something like that.
Yeah. It's hard when you do what we do because you don't really like have an idea of what you're gonna make that month. Like you have an idea, but it fluctuates so much. But what we can advise is that we work with an accountant. He's great. He helps us at least on the business side. Like for the second part of the question, save money owning your own business. Um
I think it's really good to know what you're spending in general. Cause like when I did have my accountant doing my monthly books for my personal stuff, he was like, "Hey, you spent $800 this month on food." I was like, "Oh my fucking God. That's where all my money's going." Like
Yeah.
I had no idea. So I think just taking an objective look at like what you are spending every month is the best way to like kind of go about what you're spending without like having to budget down to the dollar.
Yeah, I agree. And also I think getting in the habit, I know I'm really good of I log into my bank and all of my credit cards at least once a week. And
And that's something that I started doing as well because of Olivia.
I like get anxiety if it's like if I'm on week 2 and I don't even say like, okay, every Monday I'm gonna do it. I literally just like know it's
Yeah.
about time to log in and see where everything's at.
Yeah.
And I think that helps. Because I know, like, for Jess, she would like for a while, she was like, I just don't want to see it.
Mhm.
And I understand that because you obviously like don't want to see what you're spending, but it is so helpful and so important because
Yeah.
you need to gauge where you're at.
Yeah, I recently paid off my credit card bill and I paid it down to 0, and it's been really interesting going back into that account and like it's back up to like 1,000.
Yeah.
And
You're
I'm like,
how did this
like
happen?
what the fuck happened?
Yeah, so I think making it a habit to just look at your finances once a week is a really great thing to implement just to see across the board where you're at with everything.
Yeah.
And then save money owning your own business. I don't know. We have our accountant Robert is the shit. He helps us he's like the numbers guy and things like that. That's when delegating is so important. Listen to our episode about delegating because it's like that's not our expertise. So why
I mean,
would we try to handle that? Like
we
let's
so when it comes
hire.
to saving money owning your own business, like Robert doesn't like save our money for us. Like essentially he helps us like with the consulting of it, but essentially we just try to keep things as thin as possible. Like we try to not spend where it's unnecessary. Like
We leverage a lot of our personal skills and services.
yeah.
We barter whenever we can with people and
Yeah,
brands.
exactly. So we just try to keep it real thin. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and not making like unnecessary spending
Yeah,
investments.
and I mean it's different. It's also different when you like own a business with someone because it's like not just your money at that point too. It's not like
It's almost better
it is
because it's like you can be like, is this worth it or not? Is this
Yeah.
reasonable? Is this a good move? Is this
rather than having a few thousand in your bank account and being like, oh well, I could spoil myself or
Mhm.
I could do this for the business or whatever. Like we just
or like, is this a good use for our money?
Yeah.
And then we both have to decide if it is or if it's not. If it would be better put somewhere else.
yeah.
Okay. The next question is, how do you balance social media, traveling, and modeling with your marriage? One, I'm not married yet, but I will be soon.
Pretty much.
It's basically a marriage. How do you balance social media, traveling, and modeling with your marriage? I think treating it as a normal job,
Treating what as a normal job?
treating my work as as a normal job is the best piece of advice. Like Tyler from the start has known that like even though it looks very different from what many other people would consider work, that's what it is. Modeling is work, traveling for work is work. So,
And it's important to have a partner that understands and respects that because I mean, I can't tell you how many guys I've like met out at a bar and like they've like found out what I do. Like they see my Instagram and they're like, oh,
you don't
that's
work.
fun. Yeah, you don't work. Like, oh, this is you in Costa Rica. This is you in fucking
yeah.
Dubai, whatever the fuck. And it's like, okay, we're not compatible.
Yeah, no,
because
totally.
if you don't like respect what I'm doing and see it as work, then I think it's gonna make it that much harder for you.
Totally. And they have to understand what it is and respect it. And also, boundaries are so important. And, there's been an issue with me and Tyler in the past where sometimes because we work for ourselves and we own a business, we end up working really late hours. And there's times where like Tyler has had to set a boundary for me and he's like, you need to stop. And I have to respect that because it's like, I'm not showing up for him as a partner if it's the end of our day and it's 10 o'clock and I'm on my phone working and that's like our time to spend together. So I think just making sure like boundaries are in place no matter what type of work you're doing and asking yourself if you're showing up like if you already showed up 100% for your business or for your work, it's time to maybe not show up 120% and start showing up in your personal life.
Yeah, which is equally as important.
Yes.
So we got a question that says tips on finances for a small biz and figuring out when the best time to hire is. Love your guys' pod. Thanks, Boo.
Tips for, what was it?
On finances for a small biz. I would say delegate if it's not your strong suit.
I would say look at resources like Fiverr and Upwork, because you can hire people on Fiverr for way more affordably than you can like in the States. A lot of people are contractors in other countries. And they do things for a fraction of the price as in here.
And then figuring out when the best time to hire is. I would say it's probably when you start to feel overwhelmed or burnt out or not inspired by what you're doing.
Right. I wouldn't even say that's a financial point. That's more so of a bandwidth point, because if you burn out, your business stops. So it's like, I personally see it as I would rather push profit further down the timeline if it means that, you know, I can have help and do it in a way that is
sustainable.
Like, sustainable, exactly. To where, you know, if you're doing if you're a one woman show or a one man show, you wearing a lot of hats and you're like not bound for a burnout, but it's just a lot for one person to handle. So I think even delegating the smallest of tasks really can take a lot off your plate, more than you think, because it's like not having to remember it is the biggest thing.
Yeah. Listen to our Let's Get Delegating episode, which is a couple episodes back.
Yeah, 3 or 4 episodes back.
Yes. Okay. Next question is, would love any business financial advice you have. I think we kind of covered this for the most part. But if you guys, I mean, we should have Robert on the podcast.
I know, we always say this.
We should. Should we, guys, if you guys want an episode with our accountant, just let us know. We would love to have him on.
Moving on.
How did you start gaining followers on Instagram, or how do you start gaining followers?
How do you start is a lot different than how we started.
Yeah.
So it is a
night and day.
It is a completely different ball game. And just to give you guys some insight, when we started our accounts like 6 or 7 years ago now, we were doing like Snapchat takeovers and like random,
getting posted on Total Frat Move,
like really random things, like but to sum it up, it was like really promotion from other platforms like Snapchat that were bringing an audience over to our Instagram platforms. That's how I got my like first 20,000 maybe followers, and then from there just, you know, posting consistent content. And to gain new followers, I would still recommend leveraging other platforms. TikTok has been huge for me. I know TikTok brings me a lot of Instagram followers, especially when they pop off. Like, I see the direct correlation, and TikTok views and followers do convert to Instagram pretty well. Like, not 100%, but they do pretty well. So doing that, and also just working on reels and just making your content as best as you can, and making shareable content that other people might find or share with their friends and then want to start following you, and have kind of like a purpose for your page, whether that's just entertainment, inspiration. Like, as much as you look an aesthetic feed and think there's no purpose to this, it's making you feel something, and people like that. Like, I know I follow girls with aesthetic feeds all the time, and just follow because I enjoy their content and I want to see more of it. So I would think, what's going to make someone see your page and actually click that follow button instead of just like going to the next one? So I got some other questions, some that are like related to what we're doing, and some are kind of random. So we're going to go through them. I love the random ones. I know. I wish we got more. I want to talk about random shit. Guys, ask me random fucking questions. Next season, random shit. Random. Not even about entrepreneurship. No. I'm going to talk about whatever the fuck I want. Weather. Pasta. Film, cameras, coffee. We're film camera connoisseurs now. Okay. Someone said, "Are you dating anyone? And what do you think of long distance?" Ooh, are you dating anyone? No. That's cute though, guys. So no, I'm not dating anyone. I'm dating multiple people. I'm kidding. And what do I think of long distance? Great question. Pretty shitty. Shitty as fuck. I've done it. Olivia's done it.
I think probably everyone's done it at some point.
If you don't have to,
Don't do it. And like, don't get yourself into like predicaments where like you have to do that.
I think the hardest,
especially if you're young and like don't have money.
Yeah, true. And can't just like buy a flight to see someone.
When I fresh out of high school, I did long distance when I moved to Miami from North Carolina. And that was horrible because I didn't have like the means to like see him. Don't know why we like tried to do long distance. It's fucking stupid love. Ended up cheating on me with my friend. It was fucked up. So yeah, no, it's a no from me, dog.
So don't do long distance. Yeah, no, it's difficult. And I think the hardest thing is when a lot of people start their relationships in long distance.
Dude,
which
a good friend of ours is doing that right now. And I'm like, why would you like elect
sign up
to
for
do
that?
this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great way to like, because that's, I mean, for me and looking back at my past and my relationship, that was definitely like the hardest time of my relationship. So
Yeah.
I give kudos to people who start their relationship that way, because I guess it's a good like, okay, sink or swim. Do you have 1, good communication skills? 2, can we trust each other? 3,
I just feel like life is already so hard. Like, why are we making it harder than it needs to be when like, guys, there's so many fucking fish in the sea. Your soulmate is not across the country.
Yeah, well, I know it's different when you're already dating someone and then it's like you're moving. Like I know for a lot of like high school going into college relationships or college going into real life relationships, that's what ends up happening.
I'm not saying don't do it.
But don't
also,
like sign up for, don't like start for it is what you're saying.
Yeah, unless, you know, like you meet someone in like a really peculiar situation and it just happens.
Unless you
sparks start to fly.
Fall in love with Italy or in Italy with an Italian man.
Exactly. I mean, I think the only time I would elect to be in a long distance relationship is 1, if the person was rich and they were willing to fly me or themselves out at any given time, right? But if aside from that, if for some reason I don't date a billionaire, which would be extremely disappointing.
Weird to me.
I would only date someone in LA, which that's because I go there frequently enough. And I feel like that's the only situation in which it could work, especially because I just got a place there. But
it's hard otherwise. I mean, I did it when Tyler was in Tampa, and that's in the same state. It's just like across the state. So it's like a 4.5-hour drive.
Yeah.
But even that was so hard. And like just missing that person is the worst part. Like when you come home from a long day and all you want to do is like be in their arms and you can't, it's like the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah. Like our friend who like just started this new relationship with someone in California. Like she posted about it the other day on her close friend. She's like, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And like, I feel for her, but I'm also like, you literally signed up for this.
Yeah, it's hard though. When you fall in love, you fall in love.
Gross.
Okay, moving on.
Gross. Okay. How do you build confidence with your body?
This is a really hard question to answer because
honestly, it's like we have the traditional like standard like body composition that a lot of people want, and it is genetic. And of course, like we both work out. I work out a lot to alter my body in, you know, more desirable ways, but I don't feel like I can necessarily like speak on it because it's just, I don't think it's like necessarily fair. I'm not going to sit here and like spew like
body positivity.
Yeah. When I'm, you know,
the ideal body figure.
I'm not saying I'm like the ideal. Like, don't get me wrong. I see it, right. I see other people and I'm like, damn, like I wish I had that body. But I think it's just being really grateful for the body that I've been given. And just honestly, just recognizing that I'm privileged. Honestly, like it's a privilege to be healthy and to have, you know, like the ideal body standard without having to work for it too much. And I recognize that. Like someone asked me the other day, like, can you please do what I eat in a day? I'm like, no, because like I'm never like you're like that would be so fake of me. I'm not a nutritionist, and I'm not even like, you know, I'm not even a trainer. That's why I don't like tell people like what to do or what to eat or what to train. It's just like, you know, just doing what I do. But I think I can speak on like overall confidence, not necessarily with like the body, and that's because I wasn't always the cutest kid. You know, mama's been bullied. So I can speak on like general confidence. And I feel like it's just like ignoring what other people have to say because you know it's coming from a place of hate. The only reason that anyone spews negativity or hate or anything like that is because they hate themselves. And 9 times out of 10, they are jealous or they are insecure themselves. And I think it's just understanding that we all deal with insecurity and just kind of just pushing through that.
Yeah, and I think there's two sides to the I mean, I know she was talking about body confidence as an appearance, but I think so often we forget that like our bodies are doing incredible things every day that we're not even aware of. And I don't
Yeah.
want that to come off on like as like a privilege, like, oh, good for you, like whatever. But this is my stance, is that when I do feel insecure about my body, I am grateful that it works and it
Mhm.
walks around and it breathes and it works for me in miraculous ways every day.
And you are so much more than your body, and you're so much more than your just appearance. Like, and I think that confidence really, really comes from
Within.
deep within, not from, changing your appearance or,
Yeah.
like working out a ton. Of course, those things like help instill the confidence because, like you can feel good about yourself.
Yeah. I know personally a lot of my confidence comes from, obviously there is, this is a very honest conversation. There's a level of confidence just generally that comes from your appearance, right? Like pretty privilege, having these conversations. People treat you nicer when you look more attractive. Like it's
Yeah.
literally it just is what it is, and we recognize that. And but my deep rooted confidence doesn't come from my appearances, believe it or not. It comes from who I am as a person,
Yeah.
and like
Being confident in your kindness.
in my character. Like I'm so confident like in who I am on the inside that even on my worst days I feel confident. Even when I feel like I look like shit or
Mhm.
I'm breaking out, I still can feel so confident in a conversation with someone, and it's because I know who I am in the
Mhm.
inside. Like I know what I bring to the table. I know I'm such a good person. I know I'm such a good friend. I know I'm such a good partner, and that's like why I have so much confidence just in life, in everyday situations.
Love that.
Thanks. Okay, moving on to the next question.
I got a few questions about kind of just getting into modeling in general, like what are the basics and how do you get your foot in the door? And I would say that the first thing is that you need to obviously have like a strong portfolio. So getting some professional images done. It's actually funny because I'm taking photos this week for two people that need headshots, which one of them is Olivia's father. And one of them is our friend Amanda, because they both want to get a little bit more into like acting, modeling, whatever it may be. So having a strong like portfolio for whatever it is that you want to do. Like a modeling portfolio is going to look really different than an acting portfolio. So making sure that you're getting images that align with the type of jobs that you want to get. And then submitting to agencies and going to open calls and trying to get scouted on like, again, it depends because commercial agencies need all sorts of different looks, like you've seen in commercials. It's not always
They're
like
not as
like picture perfect people.
Yeah, they're not as specific when it comes to height and weight and race.
And honestly,
ethnicity.
we stand commercial agencies in this house. They are, in our opinion, way better than modeling agencies.
The way to go.
Like definitely the way to go. You will like 9 times out of 10 make more money that way as
Modeling
well.
is so glamorized.
It's
not.
oh my god, modeling is garbage rad.
It's not as glamorous as you think. And I think it comes with age and maturing. It definitely helps that we're in the industry and we've done it and we're washed up models. No.
People are always like,
it's just not. I think a lot of young girls glamorize it so much in their head, and that's like the peak of what they want to hit in their professional careers is being a model. And I promise you, if that's where you're at, there's so much more. There's so much more for you to accomplish than being a model.
yeah.
It's not as glamorous as it looks.
Even working for like big brands like Sephora or Ulta or,
it's as much as a paycheck. And I promise doing something that you actually are like bringing more to the table than just your exterior appearance is so much more fulfilling than standing and literally
being a mannequin.
You're a mannequin. That's what you are. Like I'm on set, they're adjusting the clothes on me, and I almost feel like it makes me feel less than, if anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm a standing mannequin. Like that's all I am now.
And unfortunately, it's not a very well respected career path, and it shows in the industry. Like when you're on set, I feel like the model is the least respected person on set.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I'm like speaking to like the brand producer, whoever is like the point person.
Oh yeah,
on
you get
set,
zero say.
You get zero say. They don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, you're a pretty face.
Yeah,
that your opinion doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Like you're like just like professionally the least respected person on set. Like they're going to listen to the photographer, the makeup artist, the stylist, the fucking caterer before they listen to you.
You have zero say.
And you don't necessarily need a say a lot of the time, but you know, like when it comes to things that you're comfortable with or, you know, requesting certain things, like they just don't give a fuck about you. So we don't really stand modeling in this household. And like people ask me like, I don't know, I think a lot of people just think that we're like still models for some reason. Like I'll see people I haven't seen in a while. They're like, oh, how's modeling? I'm like, I couldn't tell you. I haven't modeled in fucking years, dude. I wouldn't
know.
I'm like 100% more a photographer than I am a model on any given day.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
The only time I do modeling in the past few years is when it's like through myself. It's like a friend or someone who has a brand who reaches out to me on Instagram. Like the days of going to casting calls for like modeling jobs are way over for us. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Honestly, piggybacking off of that question, someone said, what's your favorite modeling shoot? And honestly, I would say that my favorite shoot, obviously I have quite a few, but one that sticks out to me is one that I did with my friend Fro. And we rented a studio and we had this hairstylist who like teased my hair up all pretty and like put flowers in it. And we just did this like so super fucking sick like 70s style shoot. It wasn't even for anything. But
it was a creative shoot, not even like a paid brand shoot.
Exactly. And like I just loved those images so much, and like just like the process and like having that vision come to life.
Yeah, if anything, the aspect of modeling that we do like is the unpaid part where it's like meeting up with our friends who are creators and photographers and create like having a vision for something and just like being creative and doing it for fun versus like getting paid to be a mannequin. Yeah,
I'm literally like planning a shoot with my friend Ashley right now for LA. We're going to shoot in like my empty apartment before I furnish it, which I thought would be like really dope and just, you know, something new. But yeah,
my favorite creative shoot is a shoot I did in Joshua Tree, not Joshua Tree, what was it, Alabama Hills, California. And we went out, we like road tripped with a photographer, me and my friend Laura, and we just took awesome like wilderness lifestyle.
I love those pictures. They're really like, they're epic.
It's so cool. And actually SLU, Sports and Lifestyle Limited, one of my agencies, in their Portland headquarters have a photo of me and Laura from that shoot blown up on their wall.
Dude, that's sick.
It's like massive. Yeah, I'll show you a picture of it. It's so cool. But it was just cool because we were in such a cool environment, one that I've never been in before. And I was with a great group of models. There was like me, Laura, and then 3 boys. So it was just a really fun dynamic. We were like doing shots where we were standing on top of a Jeep and then someone was doing a backflip off of it. Like it was just really fun. And like he was capturing us in just our natural, like playful habitat. And that was fun. And that stands out to me.
I loved that shoot. That just about wraps up our Q&A advice hour session.
I want to do more. Ask us random ass questions
next time.
And I love the personal questions too.
Yeah, I do
We love sharing like our personal life with you guys.
Stop trying to just get shit out of us. I just want to talk about stupid shit.
I know. You just want business advice. We're like, no. Talk about dating.
Not us branding ourselves as entrepreneurs and then
not wanting to talk about it. I'm over it. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you next week for Believe It or Not, our season premiere, brothers.
Season finale. Okay. Our season finale. Guys, we did it back-to-back today. It's been a long day.
You know how back-to-backs get to us, guys.
Yeah.
You know how we get.
You guys know when we're in a silly, goofy mood. It's because we're doing a back-to-back and it's making us lose our minds.
We love you guys so much. We hope you enjoyed this episode for entertainment purposes only. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.